very good morning. Welcome to a new episode of Melt. I'm Ritvika Gupta. Strong client agency relationships are at the heart of all great advertising. It is, however, challenging when brand managers simply ask for a campaign to go viral or are often caught up with lesser significant elements such as the number of brand mentions in an ad. In such scenarios, how should agencies respond and navigate expectations? Anant Rangaswami, editor of Melt, speaks to Prasoon Pandey, ad filmmaker and director at Corcoise Films, to understand how marketers can collaborate with clients on the creative process in order to solve a business challenge. Let's get ready to melt with Prasoon Pandey.
Hi Prasoon, good to see you.
Hey, Anand, how are you doing? Yeah,
Very good.
क्या बात है? Good. You know, the good thing about lockdown is I see you more often than I did without lockdown.
Yeah, I guess. So, this is a conversation I want to have with you to open minds of two sets of people: the marketer and the young creative director who's under pressure.
Mhm.
So, you get a brief from a brand, that is normal. But when the brand brief comes with 2 extra or 3 extra riders, for example, I want the brand, the product window to be 5 seconds,
Mhm.
or I want the brand to be mentioned 5 times,
Mhm.
so on and so forth. How do you focus and get away from things like that? Because this is normal. There's similarly the other thing is that I want it to be viral.
Yeah, I know.
Instead of focusing on the brief, instead of focusing on a business channel, you go away somewhere else. And both young creative directors and marketers are guilty of this.
Yeah, I think young trade directors are fine, you know.
No, when I say they come under pressure,
Yeah, they come under pressure.
and they start getting kind of derailed from
You
where
know,
they thought would go.
you know the problem that trade directors face
Mm.
because I was one and I know uh, the problem is you really slug it out and you take a long time finally seeing your idea through.
Mm.
And last minute, there are just these couple of things that are holding it back. And by that time, you're so desperate to get it to see the light of day that they might give in that, okay, I'll give it. But typically what I find is later on, if I'm saying, no, this is not required, they actually feel happy. Then, okay, somebody's coming to support their cause,
Right.
And I think what happens with clients is this is not really their area of expertise, um, which is why uh, but it looks very easy. Okay, so which is why they say, okay, let me say this is what is required, and you are right that very often they would come up with some logic around, you know that it needs to be said 5 times, or I've heard from a really huge multinational client, okay, that we have done huge research, and by the 7th second, the brand name should come. And I asked them, which is your best commercial ever? Okay, and they mentioned one. Okay, and the whole country knows. I don't want to mention it now. Okay, and the whole country knows that commercial. And I said, when was it mentioned? Okay, and suddenly say, no, that was an aberration. The catch is the story decides when your brand name will come. None of us, we cannot be shining above the story. And why I say there is nothing otherwise sacrosanct about a story. The story, we have to invest everything into the story because that's the only way we'll be able to lock in with the audience. Okay, so when I'm saying that the story has a need, that means once you say it like that is the only way we'll be able to attach, that satellite roaming somewhere in space would be able to lock in with the other space station. Okay, that is the most important part. And so I try to convince some of the clients who may be having strong opinions about this. Sometimes you're able to do it, and sometimes you lose the battle. But you know, you, I've also dealt with a client where, by 15 they were a little better than this other client I was mentioning. They were saying by 15 second, you know, uh, the brand name should come in the commercial. And I said, who decided that? Because that is, I feel, my forte. I question everything, you know. Unless I question everything, we will not be able to come out with anything new. We'll be, we'll have a template and everybody will be, it's like mass manufacturing commercials. Okay. I question even my own thinking. So I said, who said that? No, nobody had a clue who said that. Then they said, no, our chairman and CEO, 10 years back, he paid a company huge sums of money to develop our identity. And he wrote a volume, that it should be written in this font, it should be that big, on a hoarding, it should be this big, and all that. In that, he said that in any commercial, by 15 seconds, it should come. I said, what is his qualification as a filmmaker? What does he know? I'm also trained only as a graphic designer initially. Okay. So I know we do all this. Yeah, we write any goddamn in order to make the volume look thicker and all enveloping. But what does he know? Has he made any film in his life? How does he decide? Because even I do not know when it should come. It's the story that will decide. Otherwise, we'll have mathematical equations which we are farming out to people and saying it is a piece of film, and it will not work as a piece of film, because what is so beautiful about the audiovisual medium is it is so powerful that we do not realize how it sucks us in. Even when I'm trying to study a piece of cinema, it's very difficult for me to study it, because the sound and the audio, the visual and the storytelling, it envelops me and drags me in, and I forget that I actually sat down to see short breakdown. Okay, and the only way I can study it, if I want to study it as a learning process, is to put the sound off and see the film again. Right. And then later on, put the visual off and listen only to the sound. Then I can understand what all went into it. But when I see the thing, it is overwhelming. It seduces you and sucks you in, and you forget. That is the power of audiovisual medium. Now we forget that, and we write an equation, 2x plus 3y, and we believe it will work. It does not work.
Right. Tell me, you use the phrase questioning or pushing back the client. Is it, how many times easier is it for you to do today than it was 25 years ago when you were young and early in your career? Has that changed dramatically?
No, I see, now that I am a bit of an outsider, I feel as an outsider, people listen to you more, because it's a pity that they feel agency tends to become ghar ki murgi dal barabar. Okay, because they are on their payroll, they're actually not listening as much as they must. Because if I've paid somebody, however junior the guy is, he may actually, or she may actually come out with that piece of magic that I'm looking for. So it's in my interest that I should listen. Okay, but I feel sometimes they don't, and by the time they come to a director, now they know I'm paying him so much only for this job. Okay, and they start listening. It's a pity. I mean, for me it is fantastic that they do listen, but it's a pity, because very often I feel that what I'm actually doing, when I go there, I say, I'm saying yes to a script only if I see one brilliant spark somewhere. And then my hope is, when we all sit together, then I will be able to convince them, or they would be able to convince me, whichever way, to remove all the riffraff that we've put on top of that spark, because you have only 30 seconds or whatever. In that, let us make this piece shine. And then when I start removing it, and I do not know who added all that. You get my point? So it could be the chairman who said, no, and let's also say this. Or it could even be, people from the agency's account servicing team who said, let's do this. So there's lots of stuff that was covering it. And when I start removing it, the advantage is they cannot hold it against me, because they know he does not know who put it in. So it is not with malice, or, I'm not prejudiced. I'm just saying, let's remove that. Let's remove it. Very often, Anand, what I come down to is actually later on, we'd go outside and smoke a cigarette, and the agency say, actually, that's exactly the idea that kid wrote. So some kid actually wrote that. Okay, we've had to travel all this way and then come back, and they needed an outsider to say, yaar, ye aisa hona chahiye idea. which is a pity, but that's the way it works. What to do?
No, now you didn't really answer my question. Is it
I didn't.
no, in the sense,
Huh.
is it easier for you to push back today because of reputation and experience, not because you're on this side of the business? Because of reputation and experience, are you in a better position to push back today than you were 25 years ago?
Yeah, to a certain extent, it may be true, but why it is difficult to judge is because I also feel the nature of clients has changed over the last 25 years. Now they are much more process driven and stuff like that, and bars and charts and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that wasn't there. So while uh, I may not have carried uh, a lot of body of work behind myself 25 years back, but those people were still wanting to listen. Okay, and
Right.
I think now people are so bookish in their approach to the stuff that they forget that eventually uh, the audiovisual medium is magic, you know,
Right.
and you cannot actually you know overanalyze it and hope you will still reach there. It doesn't work like that.
How does a young creative director deal with a client who says, "I want a viral film"? I mean, I know it's important. I've heard many answers, but I want you to help. So imagine there's a 30-year-old guy or a 30-year-old girl in an ad agency and doesn't know how to deal with this statement. Yet there are intelligent people who are paid a crore or more who are making this demand of him or her. You must have faced it yourself.
Yeah,
How do you
sometimes people
navigate
do.
that? Yeah.
I think we just have to be honest with them and hold hands and talk to them and say, you know, it's a bit like uh, wooing a woman, when you're, marriageable age and, looking to get married. And if you say, I want the best wife in the world, okay, you cannot go in, you cannot go in looking for best wife in the world. You
Right.
have to go in looking for the best partnership that I can build, and you build on it correctly, okay, and chances are that you may actually land up with the best wife in the world, okay, but but you can't go looking for. Then you'll have to buy somebody else's or woo somebody else's wife, not buy. Okay.
Okay. Now, I read an interview, rather a story on films and production company challenges during this period.
Mhm.
Now, what is your view that, uh, again, you've got a crazy set of demands. Now, because we are under lockdown, everybody presumes that the films will be cheap. And then the conversation is going from, again, a brand brief to, can you do it internally? Can you do it like you did that film? Or whatever. Conversations go there rather than focus on a business problem and a business solution, which you're supposed to make with the film. How do you, again, help young kids navigate this and young marketers also navigate?
Yeah, I think this is a problem, Anand, I face very often, and I tell them, you know, there is nothing wrong in your saying that I do not want the film to cost uh, more than X. Okay,
Right. Whatever that might
yeah, whatever that X might be. Uh, but you have to say that before you start writing the idea. Okay,
be. Right.
because you have to write within that box. You have to think beyond the box, but you have to write within that box because pocket mein utni paise, right? So I respect that you have a certain overall game plan in life, and there is so much you need for the factory and so much for that. So on advertising you will be able to spend only so much, and so on production you'll be able to spend only so much. I appreciate that, but that is what you need to think
Before.
before. So it is a bit like architecture. Okay, so you cannot say that, listen, I want to build a 15 bedroom house, okay, but I have only 20 lakh rupees. Okay.
Right.
Now, what you can say is, I have only 20 lakh rupees.
I want the biggest house.
Please try and give me as much space as is possible.
Right.
Okay. And then what I will do is, then I'll say, okay, what is the other material that I can use for it? Okay, everything is a, you get something and you lose something, and so I may be able to do a tensile structure which may not have the solidity that you can go and stand on the roof and all. So, but I look for a solution. What is your priority? If you're saying that, I want 15 rooms, then, you'll have to shell out more money. Okay.
Right.
But if you say, I have only that much money, what is the best space you can get? Well, that's a fair enough question. So very often I do tell clients that there is no way that this film that you're seeing in your head right now can be done in this much money. It cannot be done justice to. Okay. But I tell you what I think you could do is, you could turn it around on its head. Okay. And you could say, do I really need 15 rooms? Okay. Can I suggest 15 rooms? Can I have a film where I say, ek kaam karna? Yeah, so the film is only on me, and the dialogue is, ek kaam karo, जाओ जरा मेरे कमरे में देखो कि वहां नहीं मिलेगी तो बच्चे के कमरे में देखना, उधर नहीं मिली तो भाभी के कमरे में देख लेना. So I'm suggesting there are 15 rooms, but I'm not showing 15 rooms. Is that acceptable to you?
Right. Yeah. So, one of the outcomes of all these conversations in the last 4.5 months, I've spoken to a number of people, senior people in advertising, and they say there's a plus and a minus, that the senior most people on the client end are getting involved in every film compared to pre-lockdown. So you have the CMO involved every day on every film, whether it is, the casting, the pre-production process, whatever it is. Are you experiencing the same thing? And is that a plus or a minus when the head of marketing himself or herself gets involved on the micros as well?
I think, again, to this, Anand, I feel there are two parts in the process of filmmaking. It would be great if everybody who will eventually be, signing under the thing, if they do get involved, because we have had cases, in the past where finally the chairman will approve the film, but the chairman he hasn't approved the script. So you have come with the script, we have made everything, and then finally one guy will come, okay, and he say, yeah, this whole approach is incorrect. But some 200 people have worked on it now. Okay. So I would say, if you will get involved at the ideation stage, yes, it's a great idea to get involved. Okay. Because there's a famous quote of Piyush's, okay, on this, because he told the client that, listen, if where is that guy? He's going to finally approve the film. They say, yeah, but he's not coming here to listen to the story. They say, yeah, he'll come in the end. So he's saying, if you send your son for the fitting, a trial of the suit, and the father will actually wear it, it's never going to fit. Okay. Right. So get the father here, let him dirty his hand. Okay. I'm putting it much more politely than Piyush does. You know that.
that impolite version is not allowed on television. Yeah. But have you interacted with far more senior people in the past?
So this part, I would like them to get involved at the ideation stage, if they are eventually going to get involved in approving the idea.
Right.
I think it would be silly to get into the nitty-gritty of what is happening on the film, because you will slow me down. Because if I know so many people will get involved in casting and all this, I'd actually say, then let's prepare for a 2-month pre-production. Okay, not this 20-day pre-production, because it's not really their area of expertise. Okay, since I'm not talking to a client right now, I can be honest and candid with you. Performance. What the hell do they know about a performance? Okay, that is some of my clients are brilliant, because they've actually asked the rest of the team, why are we even looking at performance? That is his area of looking, and it's a clever way of putting pressure back on a director.
Yeah.
That, okay, you decide, because whether it actually worked or not, I will decide as a client. Okay, eventually when I see the finished film. But really, if you are getting involved with, if you're standing over my head and seeing everything, you've lost your right to be able to reject the film, because you were there. Okay. So it would be silly to do that. I, of course, uh, have various ways of trying to control that, and I let the agency know that there is part of uh, a client's input which I really seek. I need honest input before I go into the making of the film. Okay, and I need honest feedback at the end. But I don't like somebody breathing on my neck. And if you are able to control it, that'll be great. Otherwise, let's find a different partner for you.
Okay. So now we are at the middle of August, and we got Dasara, Diwali a couple of months away. And this should be a time when you're getting a lot of scripts. Are you getting a lot of scripts?
No, not really. Scripts are coming. Yeah, okay, you may be right that, last 10 days, the speed has increased. Okay. Right. I didn't see it that way. I just thought maybe now, now people are working a little hard. Their party is over now. Okay. But maybe it is because of, but in none of them was there any mention of a Diwali release or anything like that. I'm trying to remember. I think it would be a rather quiet Diwali this year. I should imagine so.
Right.
Not much to celebrate as yet.
Right. Chalo, I hope by the time Diwali comes,
yeah,
good enough for you and me to meet without a Zoom call.
Yeah, definitely.
In person. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you, Prasoon.
You take care, buddy.
Catch up.
Yep. Lovely seeing you.
Bye.
And that was Prasoon Pandey telling us what it takes to foster strong partnerships between agencies and clients. Let's take a look at the Mel cheat sheet. Brands need to invest in good storytelling that connects with audiences. Agencies and clients need to engage in honest and open communication for healthy partnerships. Understanding a client's budget as early as possible in the creative discussion process is essential. Senior management should get themselves involved at the ideation stage, but they do not need to be knee-deep in the filmmaking process. And with that, it's a wrap on this episode of Melt. Do follow us on social media. Our handle is Ready to Melt. You can also stay informed on what's happening in the world of advertising and marketing with our daily Melt update on our website, readytomelt.com. And I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Goodbye.